whenever we remember someone, we also position ourselves as someone. So let's say when you remember the parent, then who are you, the child? When you remember your husband, who are you, the wife? When you remember the child, who are you, the mother or the father? So, along with remembrance, automatically there comes the question of how do we position ourselves? And Baba says that when you remember me, then who are you, the soul? And this is why, soul consciousness and remembrance of Baba can't be separated from each other. Because in body consciousness, we cannot remember Baba. In body consciousness, we will remember, that one, with whom we are positioning ourselves, like it would be some person, something, some role, some label. And according to that, we will also have a sense of who I am. So if I am remembering the patient, then I am a doctor. If I am remembering the child, then I am a parent. So this is how remembrance works. And Baba today says that it is very important that we become soul conscious and remember Baba. And when we are soul conscious, when we are in Baba's remembrance, then our original sanskars emerge. So, when I am soul conscious and in Baba's remembrance, then how am I? Knowledgeful, peaceful, loveful, blissful, powerful, pure. So that's what remembrance does to us. And Baba says that it is through this practice of soul consciousness and Baba's remembrance that you will be able to win over Maya, and you will be able to become a conqueror of sinful actions. Because sinful actions are the natural actions of a weak soul. Yes? So when I am weak, so have you seen anybody who kind of plans to create sinful actions? So do you ever get up and say, today I will perform many sinful actions? Yes, nobody does that. Nobody plans to be sinful. Nobody intends to be sinful. So every day you get up, you have this thought that, today I'll be peaceful, loveful, happy, blissful, do accurate karma. But then what happens? What happens is you don't have the power. And when you don't have the power, then a weak soul cannot perform good actions. A weak soul will definitely perform sinful actions. So this is why Baba says, you want to win over Maya, you want to be a conqueror of sinful actions. The most important thing is practice being soul conscious and sitting in remembrance of Baba. Because we don't understand soul consciousness until we are supreme soul conscious. So do you have a reference point for what it means to be soul conscious? Do you know what it means to be peaceful? Do you know what it means to be loveful? We know how to be peaceful in a body conscious way. We know how to be loveful in a body conscious way. But we don't know how to be peaceful and loveful in a soul conscious way. Yes, so it is only Baba, who is the ocean of peace and love. So, in his remembrance, I will also become like him. And let me tell you one thing. Today I was just giving a course to somebody in the morning, and I was talking about the soul world, and I was giving them a course about, how we come from the soul world, and we souls belong to the soul world, and Baba lives there, and we also come from there. And I told her that if you just, sat here and moved your intellect to the soul world, so if you just sat here and remembered the soul world, then you will become peaceful. Okay? And then she said, okay, but, and then I said, you see, if you remember the soul world and you become peaceful, that means that that world of peace exists. Okay, otherwise, how could you get that peace? But then she said it could be placebo, like, psychologically, if I think of peace, I will become peaceful. So it could be a placebo effect. It may not be, my connection with the soul world. So I told her that, if it is a placebo, then you will experience the peace that you know. But when you remember the soul world, you experience the peace that you never knew. That's the beauty of, yoga. So, it's not like you are just connecting with or remembering or, imagining that which you know. It's not just that. It's not like when you go to the soul world, you will just experience the light and peace that you think exists there. But you will experience the light and peace that you never thought about. That's the beauty of yoga. And you see that when we, so in the world also, when a scientist, what he does is, he just connects his intellect, or he takes his intellect into the depths of matter. So, what does a scientist do? All research work is done in deep silence. So, in deep silence, the scientist is having yoga with the 5 elements of nature. And when the scientist has yoga with the 5 elements of nature, then the 5 elements start revealing themselves to the scientist. And then he comes up with, a knowing and an experience which is new. And here also, Baba gives us the knowledge of the soul world. But when we have yoga with the soul world, then that yoga and the experience that comes from that yoga is the soul world revealing itself to us. When we have yoga with Baba, then we have realizations and experiences that are not based just on knowledge and thinking and imagination, but those experiences, and that is kind of a revelation that comes in yoga. And of course, Baba says that you need a structure. So Baba gives us a structure. What is the structure? So when you sit, you remember I am a soul. You remember what a soul is like. You remember the soul world. Baba gives us the color of the soul world, the form of the soul world, the qualities of the soul world. But where is that experience? That experience is something that you get when you have yoga. Yes, so theory, Baba gives us the theory. But when you have yoga, when you experiment with it, then the practical realization comes. And that realization is not based on just, imagining or visualizing what you know, but it is much more than that, because it is Baba and the soul world and everything revealing itself to you as you move your yoga from this world to that. Yes, so, and when you do all this with love, when you remember your home with love, when you remember Baba with love, when you remember the new world with love, then what happens is all that memory that is locked inside you, that memory where you know the home, where you know the Father, where you know the new world that's coming, and that whole memory starts getting unlocked. So, this unlocking happens with love. And this is why Baba says that, remember Baba with love. Baba says when you have yoga with Baba, which is based on true love, then this yoga will make you experience Baba and make you experience your true nature. Because to know yourself, you need to know Baba. Because what is the identity of the soul? The soul is like Baba. Yes, what is the identity of the soul? So, even in the world, how does a child know himself? By knowing the Father. Yes, so the Father is the reference point through which the child starts knowing himself. So it's the same here. So when we know Baba, our spiritual parent, then we also start knowing ourselves. But only when we have yoga with Baba and we consider ourselves to be Baba's child, then this yoga will restore me to my original consciousness of the soul, to my original quality of the soul. And in essence, what is the soul like? The soul is knowledgeful, pure, peaceful, loveful, blissful, powerful. Yes, and all the qualities, the virtues that are locked inside the soul because of body consciousness, they start getting unlocked with this yoga. And this is why Baba says that you want to be a conqueror of Maya, you have to have yoga with Baba. Sit in soul consciousness and remember Baba in Amrit Vela. At least, when the foundation is strong, only then can you think about Baba's remembrance all day. I would not ask you whether you do Amrit Vela every day or not. But if you don't, yes, then pay attention. Because we are, this is a very interesting school where there is education for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, but the application or the experimentation is for the rest of the time. So, in a normal school, what is the rule? You go and attend the school for 8 hours and then you get a homework for 1 or 2 hours. But here the homework is more than the school hours. So this is why if you're not paying attention to the homework, then it is very unlikely that you will get the reward that Baba is telling us we will get. Yes, so let me ask myself that Baba is giving me the knowledge that I have to anchor my buddhi in Baba's yoga and in soul consciousness, but am I doing that? Yes, because Baba is in a dimension and in a stage which is full, and only in yoga with Baba will I become full. And if I don't do that, then we must understand that we are on this slopy road where, if you're not going up, you will be pulled down. So if there is no yoga power, then obviously we are going down because Maya is pulling us and beating us badly. Yes, so it is not that. So, in the Sangam Yuga, there is nothing like neutral. So you are either doing good karma or bad karma. You are either having yoga with Baba or you belong to Maya. It's not like, you would say that I didn't have yoga with Baba, but I didn't create sin. No, doesn't happen like that. When you don't have yoga with Baba, whether you realize or not realize, you are under the influence of Maya, and Maya is depleting you. And you see, Baba has given us this lifestyle where Baba says you have to have a combination of karma and yoga. Yes, so Baba says that so 24 hours, can anybody just sit and have yoga with Baba? Is it possible? No. And 24 hours, can anybody do productive work? 24 hours, nobody can do productive work also. Yes, you cannot keep doing something all the time, You can have seva also, like I do primarily vacha seva. Yes, the seva of speaking gyan and telling gyan. So I've seen that if I do it for 8 hours, I can't go beyond that at this stage, at least, 8 hours of vacha seva, I can't do more than that. So, my throat starts getting affected. So I can't do that all day. Okay, then I have a combination of karmana seva and vacha seva and mansa seva. But still, you need a combination of seva and remembrance. Yes, even while doing seva, you need remembrance. And there are times when you will want to not do anything physically. At that time, you need remembrance. Yes, because, there is this one girl who came to the center and she was just wasting her time all day, doing nothing all day. And then I told her, you have to do something, you get a job, do something. And then she started doing it. And then she told me that I'm much better. And then she said, Didi, all through the day, if I'm busy for 10 hours, 12 hours, I'm not going into the thinking of the past. I'm not worrying about other people, and I'm fine. But even if I'm, I try to relax for 10 minutes. In those 10 minutes, my anxiety starts. And then my mood gets upset and I'm unable to sleep and this and that. So you see that even if you don't get busy for 10 minutes, Maya will attack you. And what do you have to do in that 10 minutes? You have to pay attention to have yoga with Baba and be soul conscious. So Baba says, you need a combination of karma yoga. So Baba says, even when you are doing work, you have to do it in soul consciousness, in Baba's remembrance. And when you're not doing anything, it's all the more important that you just anchor your buddhi towards Baba. Yes, so Baba says you have to just orient your buddhi towards me. Otherwise, what will happen? Maya will attack you. And if we don't pay that much of attention, then Maya will make us do sinful action, at least of the mind. Even if you're not putting it into karma, at least of the mind, you will create many sinful action. So this is why Baba is giving us this Shrimad. And today Baba says that Maya has made you lose your honor for 63 births. And what has Maya done? So, people have a lot of ego. And then what do? Because of that ego, these days you look busy all the time. Yes? So you don't want to give people the message that I can't live without you or I can't survive without you. So do you understand that it is a matter of human dignity to it hurts our dignity to tell somebody that we can't live without you. Yes, so it's not, it doesn't feel right, to tell somebody that I can't live without you. And this is why we don't say it to people these days, because we know that saying that or doing that is will hurt my ego, and I don't want to do that. But aren't you doing the same thing with your phone and with other stuff? So these days we want to show that we can live without people, but what about substances? What about your phone? What about other things? So where is the dignity of the soul? So is it not our spiritual dignity to not be a slave of matter, souls, yes, and attainments and pursuits and desires? But look at our condition. We are a complete slave of things and people and attainments and labels and desires. Yes, and what is the dignity of the soul? Any little thing can disturb you. Any little thing can disturb you. And we have lost all our honor. What is the honor of the soul? A soul is the child of God. A soul is the one who is the giver of peace and happiness. And here we are begging for peace and happiness to things, to places, to people, to attainments. All the time we are hankering after them. So where is the dignity of the soul? Yes, and I remember, there was this one lady, and she said that my husband was very angry on me. And then she said that I stopped talking to him and I shut myself in a room. But it was summer, and he switched off the AC, and he just disconnected the connection. And then it was so hot, I came out and I started shouting at him. So he said that beggars cannot be choosers. And he said, you cannot live without an AC, and you tell me you can live without me, who is financing the AC. So if you can't live without the AC, it means you can't live without me. So because I'm the one paying for the bill. So he started shouting at her, and then she said, Didi, if you really don't want to be insulted, you have to be strong on so many levels. She said that if I can't tolerate heat, then I have to tolerate insult. So then she said that both my parents are dead, and I'm alone, and I don't have any skills or any finances as such. So I have to deal with the insult, and then I have to sit in a cold room, and I have to have the luxuries of life, and I have to pay the price. So you see that why I'm giving you this example is because you say that you don't want to be a slave, but are we not slaves at so many levels? Yes, so we are slaves of our sensual desires, we are slaves of this heat, cold, this, that, weather changes, We are slaves of desires. We are slaves of, habits. We are slaves of things that we think we can't do without. We are slaves of the relationships we are attached to. We are slaves at so many levels. And how can a slave be happy? How can a slave choose? A slave doesn't have the privilege of choice. So, a slave is dictated by these things. We are living our lives like slaves. And, um, and however much we want to protect our dignity, but if our condition is of such spiritual depletion, then we cannot stay in peace and happiness. We cannot choose to be peaceful and happy if we are so dependent on these external things, and we will be miserable all the time. So Baba says, you talk about human dignity, you talk about these days people talk about rights and this and that, but even if I gave you a very appropriate example where even if you teach that woman to in the Murli, Baba says that if somebody is not allowing you to lead a pure life, which is the right of a soul, then you should choose to wash dishes but not go into impurity. But the question is, can I wash dishes? Yes, and if I don't have the strength to wash dishes, then what will Maya do? Maya will push me into impurity, and I will do that. So this is why it is very important to realize that we are not slaves of people, we are slaves of our habits. And it is because of the weakness of the soul, it is because of the habits that we have, it is because of the dependencies that we have, that people are making us dance to their tune. And if we don't overcome our slavery, our spiritual slavery, then we cannot stop dancing to the tunes of vicious people. Yes, and the question is, are you okay with dealing with come what may, because you want to follow Shrimat? So following Shrimat is not easy. Yes, you want to, because following Shrimat means taking charge of your body, mind and wealth. Right? First thing is taking charge of your body, mind and wealth. Correct? What is following Shrimat? Following Shrimat is first taking charge of your body, mind and wealth. But if the soul is weak, then your body, mind and wealth are not yours. Yes, if the soul is weak, then if everybody keeps quiet and they respect you, only then can your mind be at peace. Yes, so your mind is a slave of so many factors. Yes, even if you're sitting in yoga and you don't have physical tolerance and the fan is not switched on or the AC is not switched on, then can you have yoga with Baba? That's the question, because if you are a slave of your senses, if the skin affects you so much, the temperature on the skin affects you so much, can you be a Raj Yogi? So are you a master of your mind? Are you a master of your body? Because if comforts and luxuries and labels and titles and social stigma affects you so much, then can you be pure? You cannot be pure, because the people around you will dictate their terms of, you want to be pure, you are taking charge of your body, and then what happens is those people who are benefiting from your body will start dictating terms, and they will start cutting off whatever they are giving you or supplying to you. And then can you deal with that? Yes, so Do you have the privilege to be pure if you are a slave of your senses and you are a slave of, your social labels and this and that, your body conscious? Then can you be pure? You cannot be pure. You don't have that choice. And can you use your money in yajna seva if you are, if you're full of attachment and lust and greed and ego and all of that stuff? You cannot do that. So this is why Baba says that, Maya has completely, thrashed us like anything, and we are in a very bad condition. So first thing is, we start where we need to start. What is the starting point? Knowledge, everyday murli, yoga, getting up at Amrit Vela, meditating, and then with that power, start becoming a conqueror of sins. Start making choices, because you need great spiritual power. Knowledge and yoga will give you the power to choose purity, choose to do seva. And with that, again it becomes a virtuous cycle. And then in this virtuous cycle, again, the more strong you become, the more purity, the more yoga you can practice, the more seva you do. And this is how, you break the vicious cycle by entering the virtuous cycle. So there is a vicious cycle where weakness will beget more weakness, because the weakness in the soul will make you do more pap karma. But to change it into a virtuous cycle, where do you start? You start with everyday murli, paying attention to murli, building your power of realization, building your power of gyan, knowledge is power, and then practicing yoga. So the more you remember Baba, the more you will have discernment and the power to decide and the power to choose. And then you make the choices to be pure and do seva. And when you start making these choices, then slowly this virtuous cycle sets into motion. And when this virtuous cycle happens, where yoga and purity feed on each other. So, and then Gyan also becomes easier to imbibe with more yoga, more purity. So this virtuous cycle, when it starts happening, then you are able to get over the vicious cycle. So this is the method. And then today Baba says that never say that this is my thought, my sanskar. Have you not surrendered yourself to Baba? Then how can your thought and your sanskar be separate from Baba's? And Mama was the one who imbibed this in spirit. And whenever Mama was asked, what is your opinion about this? Then Mama would say, what is my opinion? My opinion is what Baba says. I don't have a thought. I don't have an opinion. Whatever Baba says is my opinion. So, we have to understand that when I belong to Baba, so what I'm a soul, right? So who am I? I'm Baba's child. And I'm like Baba. My form, my sanskar, my mind, my buddhi is supposed to be like Baba, right? That's the basic design. And now I've moved further away, that's different. But as much as I practice soul conscious, then I have to reach a stage where, there is nothing called my thought, my sanskar. And whenever there is a thought which is not Baba's thought, whenever I am experiencing a sanskar emerging, which is not Baba's sanskar, then whose is it? It is Ravan's. And never call that your own. When you own that thought and sanskar, it starts having power over you. Yes, so that belongs to Ravan, that comes, but you have to get over it. So there is nothing like my thought, my sanskar. Every thought I have to check, is this thought in consonance with Baba's thought? Is this sanskar in alignment with Baba's sanskar? And only then can I accept it. And then Baba says, this is with respect to thought and sanskar. And whenever you are coming into action, then always remember Baba is giving you the light and might. Never be alone when you are doing things. So do it with Baba's light and might. And when you do it with Baba's light and might, what will happen? Yes, you will stay light. And when this method you follow, then you will be free from I and mine. And where there is no I and mine, there Maya cannot come. Okay, Om Shanti.